Karibuni sana to this channel. My name is Joyce Cheruto. This is an amazing platform where we talk to people from all sorts of lives who have made strides in whatever they are doing, just to be able to understand the process as to how they got to where they are today. Our aim is to inspire people to become, to blossom, and to bloom into the best versions of themselves. And today mimi sijawaangusha, nimewaletea mtu wa nguvu kabisa, someone who I really look up to and I know many will look up to, and it's none other than the Deputy Governor for Murang'a County.
I, Honorable Stephen Mboro Munania, do swear that I shall always truly and diligently serve the people and the Republic of Kenya in the office of the Deputy Governor of Murang'a County.
Karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Asante.
How are you?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yes.
Asante sana kukubali our invite to come to this platform. Yeah, we are really appreciative.
Asante.
Now, mimi nataka we just go straight to business. I heard that githeri is your favorite food.
Sijui nani alikwambia githeri is my favorite, but I like githeri.
You like githeri?
Yeah, napenda.
So what do you like about githeri? And which githeri do you like? Is it the one with beans, with peas, with waru?
You know, mtu anaweza shangaa kwa nini mtu anasema githeri ni favorite. Unajua tukiwa wadogo hatukuwa tunapenda githeri sana.
Yeah.
But after a while you start going back to the basics, ile kitu yenye mwili nakubali na ile mwili napenda. For me githeri ni mzuri, especially ile ya yenye imekaangwa vizuri na ile kitunguu ya inaitwa nini?
Spring onions ama?
No. Hii ingine ya green, the green onions.
Yeah, it's spring onions, I believe.
Yeah.
Hiyo matawi.
Yeah, hiyo matawi. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So how would you describe yourself? For someone who's watching you for the first time, how would you describe yourself?
One of the youngest deputy governors in the republic.
I think the youngest actually. How old are you, if you don't mind?
Just turned 30 the other month in April. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you became DG at 29 years
Became
old.
DG at 29. Very challenging for a young person to be given such an immense responsibility. Najua saa zingine mtu anasikianga weight ya uongozi
on the shoulders.
Yeah, on the shoulders. Na hapa Murang'a, you know, there is a population of 1.1 million people. So you have to ensure that, yes, you are young, lakini you have the decisions to make for 1.1 million people. And
what's the percentage for the youth? 1.1? Did you know?
Yeah, they have, just like the national statistics, it's at over 60% young people below the age of 35.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then you have really inspired the 60% of the Murang'a youth, I'm sure. So where were you born? Would you like maybe describe your family setup?
Menirudisha nyuma sana.
Nataka kwenda in the beginning.
Okay. I was born in the then the then Kiambu. Hata ID yangu inakuanga imeandikwa Kiambu. Because back then Gatanga na Kiambu zilikuwa zimeshikana sana. Because kuliwanga na Thika district. Thika district ndio hii yenye ilikuwa na part ya Gatanga na part ya Gatondo, which used to form Thika district. So but ID yangu imeandikwa Kiambu. But my village from where I come from is Karega village. Karega iko Mbugiti. Mbugiti ni location. Kariera ndio ward. Then Gatanga sub county, which is in Gatanga constituency. And of course Murang'a County.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's the family setup? How many siblings do you have?
I'm the second born. Of I only have 2 siblings, an elder brother and a younger sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the middle child.
I'm the middle child.
Now una shida za middle child. No, the middle child is usually they feel forgotten.
No. When you are the middle child, unajua you have to be diplomatic. Because most favors zinaendanga kwa the youngest, then the most responsibilities zinaendanga kwa the firstborn. So wewe ukiwa hapa young, firstborn na lastborn wanapigananga sana, wewe unakuwa diplomatic. I even made a career out of it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
The conflict,
and that's how my master's is in diplomacy.
Oh. So what's the childhood memory that you're fond of when you remember unaona ni kama it has actually shaped the person that you are today?
Childhood memory. I tend to think
the mediation.
No, it's not. Let me give you a little bit of a background. I'm born in a family where my father is a pastor of the Anglican Church. By the time I was being born, my father was in school, now studying to be ordained. He was an evangelist then, and my mother used to be a tailor. And so some of the things that I can say that shaped me was because my father was very categorical in dragging us together with my sibling to everywhere we used to go. If there is an event somewhere, church or youth related, even when I was young, he used to propel us to everywhere. And so we used to take very responsibilities. Kama unataka kama utaki, ni wewe unaombesha leo, ni wewe utasema neno leo.
Oh wow, so you became very good in public speaking.
So by so hata in church sasa ni sisi tulikuwa tunaimba, dancing kwa nini kwa kanisa became like a second nature in front of people. So having munaimba, you recite poems, tunafanya drama. I used to write skits nikiwa, I would come up with a skit. So going to youth conferences kutoka since I was in high school, and all those you are going meeting youths and so forth. So I used to take responsibilities from there.
Oh, so I think now maybe you can thank your father for your political career.
In so many ways we are like, a politician and a pastor have similar jobs.
Yeah.
On most of the times, you are given the responsibility to understand the problems of the people and provide solutions for them. So only that pastors now provide spiritual growth and their kingdom ni ile ya juu. Sisi ni maneno ya hapa chini.
Maneno ya dunia.
Maneno ya dunia, of which both of them are very important. But you find that you get to speak to the same people about social issues and the same social problems. So when you are trained by a pastor to speak to people,
that's the best person to train.
Yeah, because then you are listening to people with the understanding that they are coming to you with their hopes and their dreams. And so even at a policy making level, even when you are receiving opinions of people, you have to pick them, and then you have to look for the moral justification of everything that we are doing.
Wow, that is amazing. I wouldn't think that you've actually made such a connection from the childhood to how it has how you have become, how it has shaped who you are today. With such an example that kuimba kanisa, and that is really amazing. So when you mnaimba kanisa na mna dance, mna recite poems, muendelee recite poems, you never know.
It's a great space to do so many things. Because you see, most of the people look at church and in the distortion of churches, and this is the common misconception that the church is there to condemn people, but the young people need to be given the space to be who they are, even in a religious space, and by given that opportunity to be who they are, they tend to explore either their capacities, their leadership qualities, their talents, and at that level you can create a career out of it, not necessarily being a pastor or necessarily preaching, but rather even in things that matter to the society. Yeah.
So where did you go to primary, high school, university? Ulitoka Murang'a ama ulikuja Nairobi kidogo? I don't know. We would want to know.
Okay. I went to the ECD nursery school in my village. In my village, Karega village, there was the beginning of Karega primary school. Then hakukuwa na Karega primary school. The primary school that was near was Mbogiti primary school.
Okay.
But I went to Karega nursery school because it was a standalone nursery classroom. But after that, I did not go to Mbogiti, but I went to St. Patrick's Academy. It was a small academy that was begun by a group of parents from our village, my father included. They saw that there was a need for empowering their children in a setup that they would have control of the education trajectory of their children. So together with a few other parents, a school was started, set up. It having an academy name, it doesn't mean that it was
For the elite.
for the elite. Because my father could hardly afford the school fees that was going into but that's where I grew up. I finished my KCP in 2006. I went to Mohoho High School in Gatondo North. You know where Mohoho High School is? No. It's just in Gatondo North. It's named after Mohoho, the
brother to...
No, the grandfather to the chief Mohoho, the grandfather to Kenyatta's.
Yeah, okay. I would have thought because anyway, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I went to high school. I finished high school in 2010. I went to university in Masinde Muliro University in 2011 to 2015.
To 2015,
yeah.
And you graduated.
I graduated in 2015.
And you got your first job, immediately thereafter, or?
No. The story is quite long after that.
I
know, after coming from that background, there are certain values that I instill to you. And my mother used to tell us that when tukifanya kazi kwa shamba on a daily basis.
Ulifanya kazi kwa shamba?
Yeah, of course. I lost my finger in the farm.
Oh, nione kidogo.
Yeah. I lost my finger in the farm.
Ilikata ama what happened?
Niliwanga machine ya pump ya maji.
You know, usually tell people, even me, nililima na jembe, watu wananiambia, those soft hands, how?
Yeah, pump.
I did.
It got caught in the gears. Yeah, that was in 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
You were in
I was in campus. I was in campus. Because the only way to be able to kupata pesa ya kwenda kutumia nikiwa campus, ukitoka holiday unaenda kulima. So I was trying to say that my mother used to tell us, and she continues to tell me that there are no angels who are going to come and solve your problem.
Niwe mwenyewe.
And hiyo maneno ingine yote haifanyikangi na angels. Matikagwa ni araika.
Translate.
Angels. Yeah. Araika is angels. The reason why she used to say that is because saa zingine when if you have a child aende apate kashida na hapo akuja kuambia mami niko na shida ya kufanya nini hivi, then angekwambia go solve your problem. Hizo mashida hakutakuwa na any angel atakuja kusolve your problems. Hata mimi nikikuja nitakuja kufigure out how to solve. So this got me when the machine wasn't working. Na kaniambia si angels watakuja kufix, so figure out. So this was during me figuring it out.
Yes. And your nail got the...
It's an entire...
I think the whole...
Yeah, the whole segment.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was in campus, the thing that was instilled to me because of that is because ukitafuta pesa ya campus, huna pesa, the background, hakuna pesa ya take through maneno yako ya campus. So what do? Nikauza mayai ya boilo. Yeah, to other students.
pia hii ilikuwa kutafuta fees and
hiyo ni ya kutafuta. No, my father said yeye atalipa school fees and everything
you
else.
do the upkeep.
Yeah, my mom akaambiwa wewe kazi yako ni kusaidia wa vijana nini na upkeep. But the idea of my mom na upkeep was 400 shillings every 2 weeks.
What can 400 shillings do?
Yeah. And she used to send it religiously.
Oh, wow.
Every 2 weeks, 400 shillings. Every 2 weeks, 400 shillings. And for me, one of those fine days, tukapatwa na njaa mbaya sana in campus. So me and my roommate, tukaambiana, uko na pesa ngapi? Mimi niko na 400. Uko na ngapi? Hapana, mimi niko sijui na nini na ngapi. So I decided, hii 400 yenye nimepata nini yote, I had received it, I remember, on a Thursday. On a Friday nikaenda nikanunua uji. Nikanunua uji in Kakamega pale sokoni ile ya kupimwa. Kanunua sukari na nikanunua matunda nini iliwanga ni maembe na nikanunua maembe na bananas. Maembe na bananas. So what I did, nikakuja on a Friday jioni nikapika uji. Kaanza kuzungusha uji uko kwa
campus.
Yeah. On Friday jioni the CU used to have nini kuliwanga na service ya CU. So mimi niko hapo nje na
with your nini bucket of
watu wakitoka kauza nauza. So then the following day pia tukaomba blender. So nikatengeneza ya maembe na ya yes, and it became a way of, so the 400 shillings became 3,000 shillings.
Wow.
And now I was in a position sasa to be able to cater for my own things. So religiously receiving, was give up the 400. But basically had the, so now with that, now getting out of campus, you get out of campus and you have to, I remember calling my dad, tumemaliza. My dad said something that woke me up.
Alikwambia nini?
Nilikuwa namuomba fare ya kwenda nyumbani. Kaniambia uza vitu uende nyumbani.
Oh my.
Yeah. You need to woke me up.
Yeah. That now you are responsible for your own life.
Yeah, it woke me up because now hapa hakuna mtu anakusaidia.
Yeah.
So nikauza a few things zenye nilikuanga nazo including nilikuanga na radio ufa nikauza. I didn't sell the first carpet that I ever bought na hiyo pesa ya
mayai na
so but I sold a few things and then I went to I came back. I did not reach home. I went to my brother's place in Umoja, somewhere in Umoja in Nairobi. So nikaenda kukaa na yeye hapo. Nilikuwa nalala kwa kiti yake. Yeah, hapo kwa kiti hakuwa na nini mingi, so kiti hapo nitalala.
So you sold everything basically?
Yeah, basically it's everything.
In your place?
Yeah. So after that, so nikikaa hapo nikaanza kujiuliza what am I doing here, nini ninafanya. So it occurred to me that I'm applying for jobs that I'm not sipati. I'm applying for jobs that sipati. So
decided hiyo kazi unajua inakasirishanga because it normally asks for 3 years experience and you're a fresh graduate, hauna any experience, unashanga sasa hii experience litatoa wapi?
You have to make up experience.
Yes.
And so mimi nikaamua since
internships,
na mimi nilikuwa nimefanya ile course mzuri sana, disaster management. I did disaster management and international diplomacy as an undergraduate.
Okay.
So basically it's either I would go to NGOs or niandikwe na serikali. It was either one of those. Because ukiwa na hiyo course huwezi kuwa na consultancy ya disaster management. So what I did was since none of my applications were going through, I went to where I first did my attachment, Kenya Red Cross. I went nikawaambia I'm going to volunteer here.
Yeah.
Now this is volunteer work. All I need is experience, that at the end of a certain period of time nitaandikiwa na mtu now 1 year experience.
Yeah.
So
Imagine that's the smartest thing to
that's
do.
what I
Yeah.
decided to do. So I went to nikaachana na bradhangu, nikatoka kwa bradhangu. I came to Thika. Yeah, now in Thika now I have to I had a few coins, nikatafuta nyumba ya 500. And so nikaweka mattress chini and that's it. Kaenda pale Kenya Red Cross. I was volunteering on a daily basis, naamkia asubuhi.
Na wanakulipa how much?
No, I was in
It's volunteering without
volunteer work.
No even upkeep ile kitu yenye unakupea transport.
Yeah. Because you see, it is community work. It's community work, because who is paying you to go talk to street children? Who is talking to nani anakulipa so that you mwende muwape chakula, mwende muwape nguo. Nobody is paying you to go respond to accidents. Nobody is paying you to go educate people on sexual reproductive health.
And you worked for Red Cross for how long?
I had been a volunteer for Kenya Red Cross since I was a student, so it was something that nilikuanga naendelea nayo. And it's the biggest part of my resume. Ningependa kusema
the work experience.
And so now that was what I was doing to gain experience and try to get a few contacts here and there. But also I had to eat. Lazima nilipie ile nyumba.
Yeah.
So
500.
So kama unakula na unafanya hiyo maneno ingine na unavaa, so what do? You have to find something to do. Now ndivyo nilikuanga na choma mahindi. Yeah. Now in the evening, sasa jioni after kitu kama around kutoka saa 10, I used to nachoma mahindi kidogo.
Hapo tu kwa mtaa.
Hapo tu, hata ni hapo nyuma ya MKU, hapo kuna mtaa inaitwa Runda. Just opposite YMCA pale Thika.
So the school students, the university students were your customers.
Students. Yeah. Nikaona wakuli mahindi vizuri, so I went to borrowed a popcorn machine.
So you added value to the maize.
Nikaongeza popcorn machine, and that's how I used to survive. Nikaenda, in fact nilienda nikaambia I met a person tulikuwa na attachment Kenya Red Cross. Alikuwa ameandikwa kwa duka fulani ni hapo. So mimi nikamwambia niko na popcorn machine lakini sina mahali ya kuplug in. So ndio nikaongea na unaweza ongea na mdosi yako akuwa akinipatia stima. That's how nilianza kuuza popcorn nini hapo nje YMCA. Yeah.
And I know you've worked as an ACC DO, right? But I'm wondering what motivated you to just want to go and work for the community? Unajua kazi yako ni ya community, you're actually giving back to the community more or less. So what can you say motivated you?
I'll say ilianza, it's the same. Have you ever had this feeling that you want to do a lot more? And I know that most people have it, that you want to do more for the society, you want to make a difference.
Yes.
That's the same reasoning that I had when I came, that nitafanya disaster management. You know why? Because I remember in 2000 and 2007 no 2008 kuliwanga na issue of juxtaposition. Upande moja ya nchi ulikuwanga tunaona kuna ile flood ya
2007
2008 there was the flood, kuna kuanga na flood iliwanga kule Budarangi ile with the famous mama ati serikali saidia.
Yes.
You remember that? And then a year later then we had njaa kubwa sana. Ni kuliwanga na njaa kubwa sana. And I remember telling my late grandmother then, one of I'm going to solve the food security crisis in this country. I remember telling my grandmother, I did not know what I used to do.
You didn't even know how you will do it.
Yeah, I didn't know. One of these days I'm going to, and so subconsciously I think I meant it, because when I was choosing for the courses to go do in the campus, nilitafuta option 1, option 2 na option 3 ulikuwa disaster management and international diplomacy in Masindeborilu University. Sikuwa na plan B.
That was it.
That was it. Na nikaitwa yeah. So unfortunately nini hapo katikati kulikuwa na story zingine, nilikuwa nataka kuwa askari, nilikuwa nataka kuingia jeshi, but ultimately venye niliingia pale. So hiyo maneno ya community was something that nilikuwa nasikia from the word go. So when the funny thing about how I got now to the DO position was I applied for the internship programs from the national government.
Okay.
You remember the public service internship program, the PSSIP program?
Yeah, yes.
A while back, I had the privilege to go speak in front of the president when he was inaugurating the 5th cohort. And I was telling them that I was among the first cohorts who got into the program, the internship program. And when I got into it, I was just like, I was expecting to be just like any other intern. You'll be given responsibility, unaenda, you gain experience, and then now that's for more employment. But during that period of time, I have to say that there was a genius somewhere within the program. Someone in the Ministry of Interior thought that these interns would serve as assistant county commissioner cadets.
Oh my goodness. So you didn't apply for an ACC job?
No.
You actually...
I applied as an intern.
As an intern.
But I among the 3,000 people who were in that program that year, 87 of us, 87 young people from that program had picked and given that responsibility to be assistant county commissioner cadets. That's how I got into the administration.
Okay.
That cadet, like any other cadet that you apply, because it's an applied position that people apply to. It's a training position.
Yes.
It's a training position that you go, you get trained. You have 1 year to learn everything that you need to learn so that you can be in the business of now providing directions to a government. So I decided, wow, I even knew that I'm being posted to be an ACC when I was, najua sikuwa najua barua inasema nini. Unajua mimi sikuwa nafikiria assistant county commissioner ilikusema nini. Akili yangu ilikuwa inaniambia ni assistant wa county commissioner, yule secretary mwenye anakuanga pale wa county commissioner. So when he actually came out and said that ndio madio wenye nimetumiwa, and then that's when I realized that the kind of job that I was doing.
For someone who doesn't understand the structure, Ebu, just take us through. It is the chief and then or assistant chief.
Yes, the structure of the national government administration starts from the grassroots. The lowest person is the assistant chief who represents a sub-location, and then the chief who represents a location, and then the assistant county commissioner or a DO who represents now a division.
Now that was you.
And now that was me. And then now you have a deputy county commissioner or a DCC who now represents a sub-county. And then now at the county level you have the county commissioner.
Wow. So it was a substantive
It was
position.
A substantive position. And for me, I got what I would call the shock of responsibility that are thrusted onto your shoulders.
At 20?
At 26.
26.
Yes, at 26, you can imagine that one day I'm in the streets of of Nairobi.
No, Nairobi. Yes.
Of Nairobi and Kiambu, doing what normal things. By then, when I was applying for the position,
Ruiru after tu ukifanya hustle hapo Ruiru.
Nikifanya hustle sasa, hiyo time niliwanga nimetoka kwa mahindi. Niliwanga sasa na install cameras na CCTVs kama mtu wa mkono kwa kampuni fulani hapo. Yeah. And so I was trying now to imagine that now you are here, you're in charge of I was posted to Keno. and now you have the responsibilities of a DO.
Mm-hmm.
You have the responsibility of assistant county commissioner. For most people who do not understand what that actually means, it means that you are the chairperson of the Division Security and Intelligence Committee,
Yeah.
which means that you are in charge of the security apparatus in the in the division you are in.
Mm.
That means the OCS of the areas and inspectors wa polisi wenye wako in the area.
Mm.
You provide policy directions to them.
Okay.
At the same time, you are also responsible for community implementing national government projects
Mm-hmm.
at your location.
Yeah.
And my benefit that that got to me that then is that the DCC who was my direct supervisor then
Mm.
thought it was wise for me to be his principal go-to person
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to implementation of most of the things. And so I got to work on substantive government projects as a DO. I remember one of the most significant one was the Kazi Mtaani.
Okay.
Kazi Mtaani, it was just after COVID,
Mm.
during the COVID period. The national government is rolling the economic stimulus program, and Kazi Mtaani was one of them.
Mm.
So the DCC then made me in charge of
that project.
that project now in the entire
Division.
not division, in the
Mm.
entire sub county.
Wow.
Now this is
Now constituency,
yes,
right?
yes.
Mm.
Now I was in charge of the recruitment process.
Mm.
I was in charge of the daily supervisory process.
Mm-hmm.
I was responsible for the projects that were being done.
Mm.
I remember that I had 1,600 youths under the
Under you.
program,
Mm.
52 supervisors under the program,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was an all day affair.
So can you say this interaction with people when you're working as ACC is that
Yeah.
what motivated you and just made you feel like I think I can be a leader in the community?
Yeah, because that's when, despite the young age, that's when you realize that now you have a responsibility and you have a job to do.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
I sat on and sat through disputes of land succession cases.
Mm-hmm.
I mediated over family disputes, community community issues.
Yeah.
I mediated over so many other things within the community. Because
Marital
that's the job.
issues.
Yeah, marital issues, community development.
Yes.
Now I have another responsibility, 1,600 youths who are looking up to you.
Because in the village, you know, ukikuwa na shida unasema wacha niende kwa chief. Chief is the one to solve.
Chief hii ni ile yenye inakufikianga, ni ile yenye assistant chief akishindwa, chief akishindwa inapata dio. Na wakipata dio sasa ni wewe wanapata hapo. And I think that was the beginning of me interacting now with government structures.
Yes.
In a deep manner. And also understanding what the government role is in the community and
how government works.
Yes, and how government works. And by then I came to start to realize that given the opportunity to make policies and have a say in what policies you are giving to the people, has also a direction. Plus one most important thing ya kuingia kwa siasa ilikuwa siwezangi kunyamaza.
Lazima uongee
usikike. And I had very strong opinions. Opinions that most of the times when you're in the public service, they are not required for you to have opinions. They're just required to implement.
Yes.
To implement the policies from the national government.
So now that made you run as an MCA. Kwa sababu uliona, if I run as an MCA, I can maybe, I don't know.
No, my first instinct was to run for president.
To run for president? Okay. What stopped you?
No, I remember, but I don't know whether we were joking or, but somewhat it was kind of a serious conversation. I was assisting my mother. We were in Eldoret when we were having this conversation, and we were having a look at now my background from an ACC position and how I understood how government functions and what the deputy president then, now the current president, William Samoei Ruto, was going through in terms of the government machinery against him and the struggle that he was going through. And then I was looking at the discourse now that was now panning to be the 22 general elections. You see that build up as it was happening. We were having that conversation. And so this was in 2021. Sometimes in August 2021, we were having that conversation, and I was asking, what conversation is this that is now being brought on here? Because from a fresh person into looking into Kenyan politics, you tend to see the same faces again and again and again and again.
For elective posts. That is
electing for elective posts. And I was looking at Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, and he has been in the Kenyan political conversations since 1970s, 80s.
Yeah, more than 5 decades, I believe.
Since before I was born. He was running for president since I was born. And now I was trying to say now at the stage where I can run for president and he's still running for president. For president. And then I was looking at the president, the current president. And I was looking at him. He has been in the political space since the 1990s. When I was before I was born,
before you were born,
he was still in the conversation of the Kenyan politics. And I grew up with every one of these people in the conversation of politics. And you can look at most of the people across the political divide have had 40 years of working in the public sector, in the public discourse. And so I was looking at the scenario where the current challenges that the normal mwananchi has in somewhat been contributed by the same people in the same political cycle.
So you felt like you could make
and
a
so
difference.
I told my mother, I'm going to run for president. Can you reason why? I remember making almost a debate, a small debate.
Was she supporting you?
You see, my mom is one of the people who is very objective. So I came up with this statement. Tell me why. So we had this almost 1 hour conversation about why. And how I would end up achieving that. Towards the end of the conversation, she asked me, now do you have money?
Do you have the financial muscle?
Now do you have the money now to go to, because the registration ile ya nomination pale it's kwa ABC is 2 million shillings.
Na bado ja campaign.
Yeah, that's only registration. Niliwanga ni kuregister ujulikane hata wewe unataka kupa, it's 2 million shillings.
So that's what stopped you.
That's what she asked me. Do you have the 2 million shillings? I do not have. I know your father do not have the 2 million shillings. Na nikiangalia hivi sioni mtu mwingine ako na hiyo pesa anaweza kupata. But the idea was, why was I feeling like that was something that I would do. But then I went and thought about what I would be doing. And then I came back and told her that I'm going to go by for an MCA.
That must have been a hard decision.
It was about evaluation, about what you want to achieve and what you can be able to achieve realistically.
Yes.
My mother is a very practical practical
Woman.
person, and so is my father. So when we were having these conversations with them, they were about practicability, about what can be achieved and what you hope to achieve.
They're realists from the
And
political science point
yeah,
of
yeah,
view.
yeah, yeah. But also very optimistic. And
Mm.
neither of them have been in the political landscape or have ever attempted to be in the political landscape. And so me coming in and saying to them that I'm going to vote for this, they knew that I'm going to seek for the assistance because naingia hapa sina pesa, and mimi I had only a few coins.
Straight from your first job.
Yeah. Wao pia they had very little. So when I came into the scene was it was quite a struggle. But I decided that one thing that was very clear, even before I decided that I'm going to run, is what political party that I would be using to go do that, which was UDA. It was very clear even before I even decided that was. The reason being, it wasn't even about um, the kazi ni kazi narrative, but I had spent time analyzing
The plan.
the president himself.
Oh, the president. Okay.
The president himself. You can learn more about a person's policies by a person themselves.
Yes.
And from what I understood from Ruto, even if he had an agenda that was so big to be contained by the Kenyan political system, one thing that he was that spoke out was his work ethic. You see that tenacity of a work ethic and the radical ideas that he, regardless of any other politics that you might that might come up, his work ethic was something that was very keen.
Yeah,
He was a very radical leader in terms of his work ethic and how he approached issues. And so I knew that if given a chance, him being given a chance, hata akikosa kufeliwa on the quality of his ideas, his work ethic is going to change. His work ethic is going to change the face of this country.
Yeah.
That was the reason why I went to UDA.
So
every other thing was a combination of his manifesto was sound, and so that was the basis. Himself.
So everything else was just an addition, but you were sold. UDA is the party.
For me, I was sold because you have to look up to the person that will be on top of the government.
Yeah.
And if you agree in terms of ideology, and out of fit in terms of his political temperament, regardless of everything else, that spoke. And I told him when we were in
KICC.
yeah, when we were in KICC, 5 minutes. That I got to have a conversation with him. I told him that was part of the reason why
you joined UDA.
Yeah.
So you ran as an MCA na ukaanguka. Ukupata nomination.
Sikupata nomination.
Despite believing in this party.
You used to see, I think I was very naive. Let me use that one.
Yeah.
Political, not politically naive.
Yeah.
I hadn't tested in the political, because leadership and political leadership are two quite different.
Yes.
I hadn't tested my ability to go solicit for votes.
Okay.
For me, I approached nomination as a purely final election. But the nuances of nomination elections, zile nomination polls, is quite different. Not only have do you have to lobby the votes from the members of the party, but you also have to be an active member of the party, that you bring people into the party, and also lobby the leadership of the party, so that now you are working as a team towards now
so
the
it's
general
not solely
elections.
it's not solely dependent on the people.
Yeah.
It's a whole.
Because the party also wants to make sure that it brings out a strong candidate who can be able to win an election. And so in order for you to be able to get through that that process, plus other nuances of how to manage propagandas and so forth. So my opponent said when a day to when you are going to nomination the following day, when people are going to the polls, he went to one of the perceived strongholds or polling centers that were my strongholds, and then he announced that nimemwachia.
Most of them do that. Most of them do that. Yeah.
And everything is going to be okay. And you can imagine now where he announced that, and it's where my grandfather comes from, and the name Munania was a very substantive name there. I only got 6 votes because people did not come out.
Yeah, people thought you had a handshake with.
No, they did not come out. Why were they coming out? Why would my people come out in Niliachiana?
Oh my.
And but past that, for me, the decision that I had made to support the party was absolute. So I decided that I'm going to continue supporting the party.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you continued just playing a role in the party politics in Murang'a County.
Yeah.
And as we were having just a small talk before this interview, you were telling me how you would even run your own campaign.
You see, when I think it was a little bit of a strategy and a little bit of desperation tactics. Let me combine both. The desperation came out that now I am a failed nomination candidate. I don't have a job, and I am a young person who would want to look for a job after the elections. I would be looking for a job. And then now the tactic now came in about where would that job possibly come from. And for me, I thought now that the party would, or rather the relationship that I would have created during the political campaigns would be sufficient for me to get a few connections for me to be able to land on my feet.
Okay.
And so I decided to tag myself to the member of parliament, who is also the party's legal secretary, now my member of parliament, Wakiri Edward Murimu.
Yeah.
And so when I went to him, he told me that you can be on my team in terms of coming to campaigns. And so I started using a few of the resources that I did have now to go to the campaign trails. Now I was campaigning for the president, the governor, the senator, the women rep, and the MP, including the MCA who I had lost to.
Who you lost to for free.
Yeah. Because the idea was to create a united front.
Yeah.
If anybody thought I had any harbored feelings against the MCA who had just beat me, then any opportunity that I would have requested in the party would have gone into waste. Because how would I undermine a party's candidate at any scenario? So I took him to all my supporters who were supporting me during nominations.
Oh, now to support him.
Yes.
Sasa wacha nikuulize mheshimiwa. I know this is something everyone is wondering. Uko na connection gani? Ndio ukapata hii kazi ya DG. Unajua Kenyans we just think lazima ulijua mtu alikuvutia waya mahali.
I think most people were shocked.
Yes.
Including myself.
Including yourself.
Yeah. Most people were shocked, and the reason why they were shocked is because I did not know His Excellency, my governor, Kang'ata, until the day that we signed to be in the ballot together.
Okay.
But it was not because of that he just took me from nowhere. But during this period that I was campaigning, what I did was that every day that I was going to the field and go campaign, no matter how I was used to do.
Yeah.
I used to record videos of me speaking to the people, telling them about the governor, telling them about the president, and then I would send them
To the
unedited, to his WhatsApp inbox.
Yeah.
I used to send him directly, so he used to see me on a
Very
daily
active,
basis, very active person
campaigning.
on the ground. Plus, he would also see me in areas that he wouldn't have expected me to see me. During one of his fundraisers, fundraisers for funds and for governorship, when he had the DG that he had selected, he saw me there. Nikakuja nikatokelezea hivyo na nikwanga nimetafuta 25,000 shillings contribute towards his campaign.
Oh, wow.
And that was out of nowhere. Waliona tu mtu wako kule akiannouncewa pale. You see, when you have organized a dinner for watu wa kuleta pesa, people used to bring hundreds of thousands, millions, to contribute towards the campaigns. Mimi niko hapa na 25,000.
And I'm sure that was mbele na nyuma yako.
I had nothing else. I had nothing else. Gari yenye nilikuanga nimeenda nayo ni mtu nilikuanga nimeomba. Ni mtu alikuanga amenibeba.
So you are very passionate
about... I decided that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this to the best of my ability na resources zenye nilikuanga nazo. So when the issue came about that his deputy governor would prevent him to be in the ballot, it was an entirely different issue. Because now together with other people, they were looking for a replacement, and one of the qualifications they were looking was a party of the person, because remember by then the registration for members in the political parties had closed.
Yes. So you have to be a UDA member.
Yeah, so you had to be a UDA member. So having run for MCA, I was already a UDA member. Having gone through the nominations, I had
the chapter 6.
Yeah, the chapter 6 all had been considered. I had also applied for nominations for member of parliament and senate. So all those qualifications had and I was already a paid up life member for UDA, because part of the qualification for you to be a nominated member of parliament, you have to be a party life member. So I was already paid up. I was already I had everything in order, including the certifications that were required. So
you received a call from him?
It was dramatic.
It was dramatic.
It was dramatic.
I can imagine.
Yeah. It was dramatic. Because I had just resigned myself towards campaigning. The member of parliament had approached me. Since he had seen that I was able to speak to the people and I was connecting with the people, he had approached me and asked me that I would assist him to manage his campaigns in several polling stations in Career Award.
Okay.
And we had just met like a Saturday like this. We had that conversation, and we had decided to work together. So on a Monday morning, on Sunday, I went out. I was in the process of going out, looking about the strategies that we might use, talking to a few people. And then on Monday morning, I was just waking up to, I had a very long Sunday of campaigning and nini. So on Monday, I used to sleep in a little bit. Kwa naamka kitu saa 4. But then that Monday I was just trying to wake up, and then I received a call at around 9 a.m.
Did you have the then governor's number?
Yes, I had his number. See, that's why I used to send the videos. Yes. The videos. But also the first call that I received was a person looking for advice. A person looking for advice. One of his people that used to be with him, he called me. He asked me, since mnaona kwa TV that hii maneno ni kama kimeharibika kidogo, lakini tunatafuta mtu tunaweza replace tu sahi. So fanya hivi, wewe unaweza ona mtu mwenye yako na they were looking for, since the DG who was elected was a woman, they were looking not to escape a paradox of no, not necessarily the paradox, but rather they had promised us it to
The women.
to the women, and so it was necessary for it to still go back to the women. So they were looking for a woman who was well qualified and a member of the party. To the life of me, I couldn't come up with a name. But then towards the end of the conversation, akaniuliza, for you, do you have your papers? Do you have your papers in order? Nikamwambia yes. You see, I just said yes without even consulting Kanda nijue what papers. I just said yes.
Ulikuwa tu sawa.
Oh yeah. Then I said, let me get you get back to me when one, you have either a person you can be able to propose, and secondly, when you know whether you have papers in order. Around 30 minutes later, now that's when I saw my governor's phone in a phone call. I stood up, and the only thing that he asked me, do you have your papers in order?
You stood up receiving the call.
Oh yeah, you have to stand up. You know, by the way, I realized that if sometimes you can hear in the sound of the person that a person is standing up.
Yeah, the respect that is coming from the person. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I stood up. I listened to him carefully, and then he said that you're going to receive another call to tell you all the papers that you're going to require to produce. Then the first thing that I did was now I was confused. I was confused.
You were confused.
Because now I need to look for everything that I need. So what I did, I first of all relaxed for a few minutes. I called. I decided to do two things. One, I'm not going to look for that woman they were looking for myself. But what I'm going to do, I can be able to get my papers in order.
Yes.
That I can be able to do. So I delegated the responsibility of looking for somebody who mtu anaweza fikiria to my mother.
To your mother, to look for a female candidate.
Na nikamwambia in strict confidence, usiambie mtu. Wewe kwa akili yako utaweza ona ni nani. So when she couldn't come up with something, so I decided mimi wacha niseme mimi sioni mwingine, lakini I'm going to get my things in order. Hiyo time nikatoka nyumbani, ni kama unaona ile yenye akili nakwambia wewe toka hapa.
Wewe toka.
So nikatoka, I started moving. I called for a taxi. I told the taxi guy, you just drive. I'm going to tell you where we are going to go.
Did you know where you're going?
I did not know where I was going. But ensure one thing, that whatever you are going to hear me talk about in this phone call, do not tell anyone. Or I put strictly confidence because I did not know what to make of any of these things. And I had understood that politically, you have to be very discreet when you're doing certain things, and that's what I did. The first thing that I realized that I did not have was my certified degree certificate, and so what I did is that I called my master's level supervisor, who was supervising me on my master's degree. You're in the university, yes. I have something urgent that I need you to do. Not ask me so many questions, but I need something before 2 p.m. this afternoon. A certified copy of my degree certificate. I'm going to scan the copy that I have, and I'm going to send you via email. Whatever you are going to do it. Just give me a certified copy of this certificate by 2 p.m.
So immediately after your degree, I think you didn't tell us, you did your master's immediately thereafter. In the same disaster management.
No, I did in international
relations. Wonderful. So you got your certification before 2 p.m.
Before 2 p.m. He sent me.
So you now signed the nomination papers, muka campaign, and now you became DG. Do you still believe ukiitwa your excellency? Unashanganga huyo ni nani?
No,
mheshimiwa mgani anaitwa?
No, for almost even during the campaign period, I remember that even there was this notion that I was a placeholder. I was a placeholder.
Umewekwa tu hapo ushikilie.
For the purpose governorship, and those politics played out
Yeah.
across the county.
Mm.
And for me, what I decided and what we decided, because we had a lengthy conversation with my family,
Mm.
what we decided, we decided hii ni maneno ya Mungu.
Mm.
We do not know what plan they are, of what any other thing, because I wasn't in the room
When they were
when
discussing.
I was being selected. I wasn't in that room.
Yeah.
There wasn't any person close to me who was in that room when
But
all those things were being discussed.
did you ever pray? You know, most of us pray, may my name be mentioned in the rooms where decisions are being made. Did you ever make that prayer?
That night.
That night you did.
That night before, no, not even about that. I think that's the night, the 24 hours before
The signing of the
before the
nomination.
signing of the papers at the IEBC. I spent that night with the bishop. Nilala kwa bishop, nikamwambia wacha tu nilale kwako. We prayed.
Yeah, you thoroughly prayed.
And that's all we did. I did not sleep that day.
So let me ask you, a young man campaigning, let me just nirudi nyuma kidogo, campaigning, haukuwa ulizwa, you're not married, you don't have kids. You know, this is just the Africa setup. I believe, even me when I was campaigning, so many people were wondering, are you married? Do you have children? So for your case, how was the reception? Because they knew this is a young man with no family of his own.
I think you get back to, you get to understand why people ask those questions. The reason why most people ask those questions is not because they ask those questions because they want to understand who you are as a person. They also want to understand whether you are a person who is grounded in the society norms. You see, they are looking for your values. Family values are the widely acknowledged values, values for any leader. And so they also understand that when you're talking about the children of of their children, when you are dealing with issues of development, you are talking from a personalized point of view. They also understand that now when you're talking about family issues, you're understanding from a family you come from. But whereas those questions were being asked, for me, I told them what we answered that question was what the question represented. The moral justification, or rather, not necessarily the moral justification, but rather the what values you stand for. So I indicated what values I stood for. And they believed those values because I told them that I am a Christian, born in a family where my father is a reverend. This is my background, and having most people in Murang'a being Christians, I took them to the Bible. Even in my campaign speeches, I took them to the Bible. I took them to the book of First Samuel, chapter 16, from verse 10 onwards, where Samuel was in the house of Jesse looking for a person to anoint to be the king of Israel. And so that story states it was very that's a story that I really connect with.
Na wakatafuta kwa wao vijana wote,
and even during the campaign period wakaniita kamwana ka Jesse, which means the son of Jesse, kale kijana ka. Why? Because it's a story that resonates with most people in terms of another dog who is unappreciated, or rather a person who, in your first glance, you wouldn't imagine. And this is usually the scenario, even in the Bible, you look, even in the society. It is widely accepted that leaders come from God.
Ordained by God. That is
they are ordained from God. And so this understanding that that this is what is happening, that's what I told the people.
Wow.
This is not my doing. I did not know my governor since the day I signed those papers. If they need to believe in something, then they need to believe in the word of God. That when he says that he's going to anoint a young boy from nowhere to become a king and then change the world, they need to believe that. and they did believe that.
Yes, they did. And
Yeah.
you became DG,
Yes.
and His Excellency became governor. And now
Yes.
it's 1 year on. I'm just wondering, in all the projects that you've done, because I'm seeing every week on your Facebook page, there's a project you guys are launching.
Yeah.
And I've seen you have a plan to have 8 markets all over Murang'a and the Uji project. But I'm wondering, what is this one project that you have launched, you and Governor have launched, and you think it will have the biggest impact to Murang'a people?
Let me say first, there are so many projects that are being launched in Murang'a.
Yes.
And when the governor was communicating these projects to the people, that's why they elected him. And to begin with, whatever we were elected under the platform that he is going to achieve certain things to the people of Murang'a. We did the NHIF Kangatakia, that by October first. Right now it has 20,000 people that we are supporting with the NHIF cards that they can go to hospital for free.
Yeah.
It also by next year, I think it is going to be around 30,000.
People.
Yeah, people, households, not people, households.
Yeah.
So with the households with an average of around 3 people, then the cards can actually support over 100,000 people across the county. Then the second program was elected on was on minimum guaranteed returns issues of farmers, ensuring that they have the best the best prices for their produce and supporting their value chains. Currently, that program is supporting around 20,000 farmers, and we want to ensure that it gets to 40,000 farmers. Then the other was in the issue of the school feeding program, which is the Uji program. Right now, it's across all ECD centers, supporting 42,000 children every day who are benefiting from the feeding program.
And people don't understand how impactful that is, because I think when I was talking to people in the community, they were saying what is actually encouraging them to go to school is if they're kama watapata chakula, because at home they actually have nothing.
In December, when we first of all launched the program, we only had 36,000 students.
Yeah.
We only had 36,000 students. Right now it's 42,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a quite an impactful program because it's reducing the barriers to basic education at the low level.
Yeah.
And then the fourth project was about ward development fund, but in realization that the constitution cannot allow for such, we redefined it to mean community projects, whereby we have set aside money for development to every ward in the county. But those are what we promised the people. But my passion still lies with the young people.
Okay.
Because it's the general understanding that if Murang'a is going to develop and go into the future, we need to move with the young people.
With 61%, or you say over 60?
We need to ensure that they are well supported and they have a future in this county. And you can see that currently unemployment rates are very high across the country, not only in Murang'a, they are very high across the country. So what me and the governor decided to do was craft a policy that is going to ensure that we can be able to support the young people accordingly. Because if you look at how most of the programs are crafted, the NHIF is crafted to appeal to an aging population that requires more medical attention as they age. You look at the minimum guaranteed returns for farmers, it tends to towards the population of people who own land and people who are already farming. These tend largely not to be young people.
Yeah.
You look at projects such as the ECD Uji programs. These are for the children, for the children. So when you talk about community project, whereas they're impacting the young people, but also people want to see personalized benefits to themselves.
Yeah.
So the young people would come and ask me, oh, what are you planning for the young people in this county? You are a young person, we elected you, you are a young
Yes.
person. Where is your voice in any of this project? So we sat down, and after a year of deliberation on how we can be able to achieve that, we will be providing, and currently we have already put regulations and a policy in front of the county assembly for them to approve for us, a Murang'a youth policy. What this intends to do is to look after the uneducated young people who are unemployed. But this is largely, and when I mean uneducated, I mean the people who did not get the opportunity to go to college, the people who did not get the opportunity to go to university, of which they are numerous in this country.
Yes.
Not to mean that the ones that were educated are not in need of jobs, but these are the young people that we can call the disenfranchised one,
Yes.
because their opportunities have shrunk because of lack of that education. And so this youth policy is intended to ensure that we create something that resembles Murang'a Youth Service, a youth service for the Murang'a young people.
I like it.
And by doing this, what we are going to do is that we are going to create a program, a work, train, and then what you do is that you launch a young person. By work, we mean that we get the people who are the young people from every ward. We take 30. We give them the work to ensure that they assist the county in county development. They are cleaning our towns. They are helping us in collection of garbage. They are helping us in issues of development, kama ni barabara tunataka kutengeneza, or anything else. Once they have done that, we take them through a course in our TVETs, which are our polytechnics. Now that's the education and training. We train them a course of their choosing, which as a county we are going to pay for as a county. Then after that, remember we are paying them daily wages. Daily wages as they are doing all these things. Then we give them what we call we give them a certificate, and then what we will be doing by launching them is now giving them 15,000 shillings to start business, or buy equipment to exercise whatever that they have learned from the program. And then we pick another cohort. We expect that every year we are going to do at least 1,000 young people every year.
Wow.
And whereas this is not going to solve the larger unemployment issue, but it's going to be the basis through which that we can be able to have an impact on as many young people as possible, in the county.
And you know, just to solve unemployment, I believe you can't always pay watu kazi, but you can enable them to find what is it, kujitafutia.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what the program, I believe, is about.
And
it's about empowerment.
And this is what we want to achieve with the youth policy, to ensure that we empower, because I do believe that when we touch one young person in this household, we have an impact of several others in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because we also want to target this to ensure that the issues of alcoholism and drug abuse are reduced significantly because of unemployment, because we will be actively engaging the young people. But that is not the only, that I think would be the most impactful to the young people of Murang'a when it comes to their future. But also there is also another pet project that that have been working on with the Department of Agriculture. We realized that 80% of Murang'a people do agricultural activities. 80% of them.
Yes.
And so, if employment is going to come from somewhere, the easiest place for employment to come from is agriculture.
Yeah.
Because it holds the 80% of the things that we are looking to. And By so looking, we began a program that we were calling Youth in Coffee Agribusiness Initiative, whereby I went to kapatana na Charlene Ruto, the first daughter
I've seen
to.
she's doing some farming, bee farming or
Yeah,
something
yes,
like
yes,
that.
yes. We began before she was doing bee. We were doing coffee with her in Murang'a.
Okay.
We established a demonstration farm somewhere in Marago, whereby we are training 150 young people to do what we are calling youth-led extension, whereby the young people are going to actively engage in farming and teach other people in the community to engage in farming. What that is meant to do is to entice young people into farming.
Yeah.
And we do want to reach to a position where not only are we in coffee, but we also in the other value chain that we want to support.
Okay.
So as the young people of Murang'a, we are looking after their hopes, because they want to participate in talent. They want to participate in sports.
Yeah.
And so we have programs both in sports, we have programs in talent. That we have a governors cup that we launched there in the previous financial year. It's yet to go to fruition. The previous around 2 weeks ago, we had the selection of the under 19 football tournament that will be taking to regionals. And we will be supporting all other talents. So that's to ensure that the young people in Murang'a are adequately supported.
Hey, Your Excellency, you are a true inspiration to the young people, not only in Murang'a, but I believe in the whole country, for sure. And I am sold. I think if I was a youth in Murang'a, I would feel like kweli wewe ni mtetezi wetu. That's what I would feel like. And I'm wondering, for a young person who is who wants to be a leader, what parting shot would you tell them?
Stand up and be counted.
Yeah.
If you want to be a leader, start up and start doing something. There is a famous Kikuyu proverb that says, "Siakorira washo mugoda." It means that if you want to have opportunities, they are going to find you as you are doing things.
As you're doing, yeah, that is
as
true.
you are doing things, because I tend to think if I hadn't, kama nilikuanga nimesema sitasimama kiti MCA, I would still be jobless, I think.
Yeah. Ulijituma.
The opportunities that opened after I took that initial step, it wouldn't be possible. When I failed nominations, if I would have decided to sleep or
and be miserable,
and be miserable because I have lost, or somebody has played some politics that I wasn't mature for them. The opportunity to become a deputy governor wouldn't have been possible. And I know that most young people think that each and every step you have to have a lot. For me, I came into politics with virtually no coin in my pockets. I came into leadership trying to having a vision that I wanted to change the affairs of the people, and that's what I talk to the people about. I used to go to campaigns on foot, and nikipata bodaboda ni sawa, kama sipati bodaboda ni sawa, nitaenda door to door. It didn't used to matter naomba lift hapa nikienda mahali fulani. It didn't used to matter how I did get there, but as long as I got there. I also spoke out about the things that were important to me. And I think towards the end, any achievement, and maybe even this is true for you, you wouldn't be here interviewing me if sikujituma umejituma.
Yes, najituma.
And so it's also true even in entrepreneurship. You do not begin a business when it's huge. You begin a business when it's small.
Yes.
Unajituma until it becomes this huge thing that, and now you can lead to other employment. It's the same case whether you are talking about politics, whether you are talking about business, whether you are talking about youth empowerment. If you show no initiative, nobody is going to come and give you initiative. Yeah.
That is wonderful. Initiative is very, very, very important. And I believe the youth should also just stop thinking that they are the leaders of tomorrow. They are
Oh
the
yeah,
leaders of
tomorrow has
today. Yeah,
come.
tomorrow has come. Imefika, ni sasa hivi.
Tomorrow has come.
Yes.
And by the way, hivyo ndivyo nilikuanga hata nika slogan kangu ni hashtag yangu tomorrow has
Tomorrow
come.
has come.
Na nitaisema mara mingi sana hata uweke kwa video. Tomorrow has come.
Nitaweka. Sasa mheshimiwa, asante
Yeah.
sana for joining us
Thank you.
for this show and for your support.
Thank you.
Yeah. From us, that would be it for today. I hope you guys will enjoy the show. And please subscribe, like, and hit the notification button to get to watch more from us. Peace.